Hello everybody, back again with another video. So I think I did say in the last one I uploaded, David Cronenberg ranking that I would be doing John Carpenter next. So probably prefer Carpenter as a director to Cronenberg, but I've just got more films by Cronenberg. I think he put out more films, but I will give a spoiler to this. Basically, I don't own Assault on Precinct 13. I don't really know. I think I said in the video before when I was talking about like prison films and that it's like a blind spot. I've seen it a lot of times, and when I was a kid, I think my mate had it on VHS, so we used to watch it. I've seen it on TV. I think I've seen the remake. It is really good. I'm thinking of buying it when I go to HMV on Wednesday or so. Don't know when this is coming out, so maybe it'll be day after. I might already have it by then, but yeah, there's quite a few I'm thinking of picking up and some criterions. But yeah, it's what I said before about doing these rankings and sort of one with films with colours in their titles just gives me a chance to look through the collection, hopefully give people some recommendations they of films they haven't seen or and sort of inspire me to jog my memory because like I say I've got a lot of films so I can look through the shelves and I sort of pick out films to watch, but I don't really go into detail looking at everyone. It's not until I do something like this that I notice certain ones I'm missing. So anyway, on with the ranking. Um, Let me know if there's any other. I think he's done one called something to do with the Invisible Man with Chevy Chase. Not heard great things about it. That I don't own. Um, don't own Dark Star. Is it called? His first film, like a sci-fi. I've watched it and it's pretty good. My mate lent it to me. Uh, Probably would be near the bottom if I did own it, but I don't think anything would be lower than Ghosts of Mars for me. Don't hate this film, to be fair. Ice Cube, I've never rated that much as an actor. He is good in in a mental block. What's the gangster kind of film? Boys in the Hood, and he's quite funny in. Is it 22 Jump Street? It's like the policeman guy that's like tells him off and stuff. But yeah, I don't think he's the strongest actor. Not seen it for quite a while. It doesn't really feel like a Carpenter film, but yeah, I think quite a lot of people don't say great things about this one. To be fair, I haven't seen it for about 10 years, so I can't remember too much of it. But basically, yeah, people live on like the surface of Mars, and these aliens kind of come up out the surface. All I can remember, and then Ice Cube's like in prison, he escapes. They have to let him out to help him. I would say I need to rewatch this again, but I don't really know if it's worth the time when I've got such a back catalogue of ones to watch. Next least favourite is Vampires. Didn't mind this. It's got some really good scenes. I like how they like drag them out into the sun on a rope. I've got part two, Los Muertes, I think it's called, maybe starring John Bon Jovi, but it's not a Carpenter film, so obviously I didn't show it here. But yeah, I mean, even these worst ones I don't hate, to be fair, but yeah, it's got James Woods in it. I mean, yeah, coincidentally, he was in the last one I showed of Cronenberg in Videodrome, so obviously gets around, and good directors like to work with him. Um, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a bit more, well, I wouldn't say Hollywood, but yeah, a bit more conventional kind of vampire film, really. Not too much, like I say, I know a lot of people's least favourites Ghosts of Mars and Vampires, so I wasn't doing that to be fashionable, it's just my opinion as well. Village of the Damned. I do remember there's one really good scene in this about spoiling it where the children can like mind control people and this guy is like forced to put his hand into like a pot or a saucepan of boiling water. That bit's quite good, and all the children look quite sort of good with their blonde hair and red eyes. But this came out after Children of the Corn, which I think it did. It is a bit of a rip off, really, like a pastiche of it. Yeah, I can't remember too much about this. Again, I have to sort of rewatch this, but it's hard to get round to all these films, as I'm sure most collectors know. Not only have I got a backlog of hundreds I haven't seen, then hundreds I want to rewatch, and then I'm buying like 20 new ones every month. It's ones at the cinema I want to see. It's old like Betamax I got off my granddad when he died. Gave me his whole like, obviously it's all recorded ones he's written on, but some on there like really interesting films I've never watched. So yeah, getting round to this is not really my priority, but this one I'm quite impressed by. Cigarette Burns. It's also doubled up, double bill with Stuart Gordon's Dreams of Witch House, which is a Lovecraft. Um, yeah, I mean, I was tempted to rank this higher. I think it's only an hour long, but it's part of the Masters of Horror which was a TV series. So I think there's 4 big box sets. I got 2 of them, and each one's got about 8 episodes. One's shot by there's one by Joe Dante, one by John Landis. And that one's called Deer. One by Mike Takashi. Um, maybe Joe D'Amato. Trying to think. I don't think David Cronenberg's got one on it. I did check that before I did his ranking, but yeah. Anyway, so basically, it's about a lost film, and the cigarette burns refers to on old, film shot on actual film, like 16 millimeter. There's like cigarette burns appear up in the corners of the film where it's like aged or something. But yeah, basically, they hear about this main guy in this. Let me just quickly see if I can find his name. Norman Reedus, really good in it. I think I have seen him in other things, but yeah, he plays a really good role. He's kind of like a investigator, and someone sends him to get these film reels. But the film's legendary, and it's basically, if you watch it, I think a bit like that film called Antrium's meant to be about, where it's like a cursed kind of film, and when it was last played in the cinema, everyone went insane and tore each other apart, and the guy you see on the front isn't really a spoiler, is like a kind of angel, and they've like clipped his wings, and he was in the film, and they like keep him in a basement. Yeah, quite a dark, creepy, mysterious kind of film. But yeah, I did quite enjoy this one. If it weren't for the rest of his work being so good, then this would have been a bit higher. But yeah, I guess it's a testament to Carpenter's directing, really. Oh yeah, it's another one I don't have is Escape from LA, which I've heard is just a worse sequel of Escape from New York. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Really fun film. I like Donald Pleasance as the I guess he's the president in it. Really good action, good fighting scenes. Kurt Russell, not my favourite role by him in a Carpenter film, as you'll see. There's 2 higher than this. What's the name of the other? So the big guy that, oh yeah, Harry Dean Stanton plays a really good. Oh, Isaac Hayes, that's what I'm thinking of, like the big black guy. Lee Van Cleef's in it. He's out of a lot of westerns, like spaghetti westerns. He's really good in it. Snake Plissken, he's called, but basically, New York is like a prison island. Well, not an island. Well, I guess it is an island, but like a kind of big prison complex, you'd call it. And Donald Pleasance is flying over it, and his plane gets shot down, and then he gets like taken hostage, and then they send Snake Plissken, Kurt Russell's character, in to save him. And then, it's like in a post-apocalyptic kind of world run by gangs, and he's got to like fight people in the ring. But yeah, really entertaining film. More of, yeah, like a kind of action. I guess it's got sci-fi elements. Prince of Darkness, another Donald Pleasance, and obviously, spoiler alert, he was in Halloween, so John Carpenter seems to really like working with a lot of the same actors. David Cronenberg didn't do it as much, I don't think. Keep referring to that because obviously that's the other ranking I did just before this one, Cronenberg. But yeah, Donald Pleasance, Kurt Russell, Adrienne Barbeau, but I guess that was his wife at one point, so that makes sense. But yeah, I do really like this one. I think this is quite an underrated one. So in a church, they find this like big vat of like this green fluid, and scientists are trying to like not experiment on it. What's the word? Like research it to find out what's going on. And I mean, it's not really a spoiler in the title, Prince of Darkness, but obviously there's some like things to do with the devil. And Alice Cooper plays a really creepy kind of homeless guy, and they're all stalking around the church in like a cult. Yeah, really creepy kind of slow burner. I know people that don't like this, but I do really enjoy that. This jogged my memory. I think this is called is it the Apocalypse trilogy? Where it's this, In the Mouth of Madness, and The Thing. I don't have In the Mouth of Madness, but I have seen it, and it's really good, and I would rank it in the top 5 if I did. I do need to buy it, but I've not really seen it much. And then I think there's another one. Think of the name of it. I'll see if I remember later on that I also don't own, but I do want to get. Next, you've got Christine. I think a lot of people would vote this higher, and I do really enjoy it, but like I say, there's some really good ones sort of coming up that I just enjoy more than this. But yeah, I like the effects. I like how they crumple up Christine, and then they sort of record it and then reverse it as the effects. It looks like it's all uncrumpling. Really good shots. A bit when the sort of cars coming down the road with the lights on, and the silhouette is kind of give you like goose pimples. Good acting role by, what's the guy called that plays Arnie? Keith Gordon. Um, yeah, I mean there was a lot. It don't bother me, but I know some people complain there is a lot of like swearing and kind of bad language. Doesn't really feel like a Carpenter film, but yeah, it's a good book by Stephen King and a good adaptation. So yeah, probably one of his more renowned ones. I think after The Thing, which kind of was a flop, which is just crazy to think about because it's amazing. Now it's got its audience, but back then, I think I've said this before, but E.T. came out around the same time, and everybody wanted to go and see The Friendly Alien, and Roger Ebert or someone like shat on The Thing and said it was just a gross load of like special effects. But yeah, so I think he kind of was struggling to find work, so he just took this. So he probably didn't have as much creative input. The Fog, some people might think weird that I rank this higher than Christine, but I do really enjoy this one. I like the atmosphere. I like Adrienne Barbeau on the radio up in her like lighthouse. I like the creatures that come from the fog. The fog is obviously like a sort of second character in it. It's got 2 discs. I do need to pick this one up on Blu-ray. I think they do it in the same as Studio Canal, same as this Prince of Darkness. And Escape from New York. I've got the slipcover on Escape from New York. I think that does come with a slip, but I didn't manage to get it. But yeah, I seen that not long ago in CEX, and I was gonna pick it up, and then it was either damaged or when I got to the till, they said they couldn't find the disc or something. So yeah, I will be on the lookout. But yeah, like I say, I think this is an underrated one. I've heard the remake of it is awful, so I've never gone to watch that. Big Trouble in Little China, 2 versions. I remember really loving this one as a kid. Kind of the martial arts mixed with the monsters and the kind of comedy. I think is he called Kim Cattrall from like Sex and the City in one of her early roles. Kurt Russell delivering some classic one-liners. It is kind of a bit cheesy, I guess you'd say, but yeah, I've obviously got the Arrow Blu-ray. This old DVD, I've had this one for years. To be fair, I do really like the artwork on the front of that. But yeah, I used to like the bit when the kung fu guy runs around the loop, and then spoiler, but at the end when he's driving away on the lorry, there's like a stowaway. Is what I'm gonna say. One really weird bit when this big like Chinese guy is gonna fight them, and then he just inflates really massive. I can't remember why he does, and like explodes. It's quite a sort of shocking, gory, not shocking in terms of disturbing, but you just don't expect it to sort of be in the film. It just comes out of nowhere. They Live. Again, I need to upgrade this. I think I find with a lot of these, same as some of the films like Jurassic Park and that I showed in some of my other ones, just films I've had so long, I've seen so many times. I do want to upgrade them onto 4K. They just haven't really been priorities, but if I seen them cheap or something, I would pick them up. So yeah, same with They Live. It's kind of more relevant now. Well, it's gained in relevance over the years, where the world's become more capitalist and more sort of buy, which is what this sort of riffs on quite a lot. Rowdy Roddy Piper in Hell Comes to Frogtown. I don't think he's a great actor, but in this he does really well. Is it called Keith David? Sorry if I'm obscuring this. I'm trying to look. It's quite a weird back to it, really, isn't it? The way it's sort of all landscaping sideways. Can't see it written on there, but I'm 99% sure it's Keith David. Has like a massive long fight scene. Obviously, he's out of the Thing as well. So again, that's another character or actor, should I say, that John Carpenter's used in multiple films. Yeah, it's obviously a guy. I'm sure people have seen this, but if you haven't, he gets these sunglasses, and when he puts them on, he can still see the real reality. So all these people going around with normal faces, underneath they kind of got like a weird alien face, and then all around when he looks at signs and buildings, it's like bye bye bye. Uh, cap. It's basically just capitalism, kind of like an allegory for all that. But yeah, I think this is my third favorite. Looking at how my third favorite one. I've known a few people that do put this as a very, very favourite, and it is an enjoyable film, but yeah, I do need to upgrade that onto 4K really. And then number 2, this was very close to being number 1, but I should have said at the start, no one's going to be, if you know my channel and you've seen film videos by me, I've spoke about my number 1 in quite a few different ones, saying it's my favourite film ever, so I'm sure it won't be shocking. But yeah, I do really like this. It's like lenticular, I don't know if you're already getting that in this kind of light I'm filming it in. It goes from Michael Myers' face in his mask to like the knife, but it's hard to explain. I'm sure people know the front cover to this, but the knife, what's the word? Kind of reflects 5 times to make like a sort of pumpkin. We call it in England, but like a jack o' lantern. Yeah, probably my favourite slasher ever. Scream close to it. I watched it a few months ago, and I was surprised at how quick the film went. Yeah, it's like an hour and a half, but it just flew by. Still really stands up today. Good performance from Jamie Lee Curtis. One of the other girls in it got a great performance, to be fair, but don't ruin the film. Obviously, sort of silent killer, Michael Myers. I really like Donald Pleasance. The myth Ozzy builds up, how dangerous Michael is, and how he knows him, and he's sort of been mute since he did the stabbing. Not really much blood on that in this. I mean, when I watched it as a kid, and when I was thinking back, I was like, yeah, it's gory. There's all these stabbings, but Carpenter does really well to, don't show you that much, but you come away thinking, a bit like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you come away thinking you've seen all this gore and brutality, and not much of it is really shown on the screen, really, but I think that's part of its charm. Yeah, really well made film. I mean, everybody knows this. It's one of the most important sort of horror. Really started the slasher. I think Bay of Blood by Mario Bava was out before this, but obviously there's been a lot of slashers since, but most of them are Halloween clones, to be fair. I do like some of the other ones later in the series, even Season of the Witch, that a lot of people seem to hate, but obviously they're not John Carpenter films. And I do need to upgrade this one onto like 4K or Blu-ray as well, and then I'm sure this is no surprise, but my number one is The Thing. Spoke about this a lot, and I've shown all these editions quite a lot, but people haven't seen the other videos, then I'll just quickly go over it. So that's the DVD that I've had for a long time. I do really like the artwork on that. That's the 4K Steelbook. 2 discs, got the 4K and the Blu-ray and some nice special features. Although, like I've said before, I do for that artwork on the back to that one. And I've got the Arrow Blu-ray collector's box. Not the greatest condition. I did get it second hand. Not too happy with that little sort of bits in the corner. No, I think that was there when I got it. I don't know if it's got a bit worse since I've had it. I might have like pranged it on the shelf when I was getting it out. It's missing the poster by the look of it, but yeah, it's really hard to pick up nowadays. But I've just sort of got 3 versions of that just because it's my favourite film ever. Spoke about it a lot, so I'm not going to keep going over it, just saying the same thing. But yeah, just entertaining, so rewatchable, so ambiguous, so many red herrings, so well shot. I love the setting, if the being in the Antarctic. I like the isolation element. I like the paranoia of not knowing who the thing's in. Best practical effects there's ever been. I don't think it'll be matched, just because practical effects are dying out, as you've probably seen by the thing, the prequel. I thought some of the storylines with a bit with the fillings and the teeth and that was quite interesting, but just the CGI let it down. I just don't get there thinking on let's take the film with the best practical effects ever and then just CGI it and wonder why the fans don't like it, and newcomers didn't really enjoy it either. I don't think the CGI is pretty bad. But yeah, like obviously Bob Bottin does the special effects on this, but yeah, you'd think 40 years or so later it would have been bettered, but in special effects terms. But like I say, just because not many films are using practical effects now, it's not going to be bettered. So this is the kind of what's the word? The hallmark, the sort of standard, the gold standard, I guess you'd call it for special effects. Yeah, everything about this film flawless, 10 out of 10. Rewatched it over 20 times. Watch it at least once a year. Watch it whenever it's snowy and cold. A bit harder to get into in the summer, just because it's hard to put yourself in that atmosphere. But yeah, there's not much more I can say about this. If you haven't seen the thing, then get and see it. I'm sure you won't be disappointed, and if you have seen it, then I'm sure you respect it, and it's one of your favourite films. But yeah, anybody else? I was trying to think of the name of the other one other than The Mouth of Madness. I'm pretty sure there's another one I'm missing. That was around the same time. Mouth of Madness, I think, is known as his last great film. I don't think I've got The Ward, which is a new one, but I've not heard great things about it. It's got Amber Heard or something in The Ward, maybe. Um, maybe one or two others I'm missing, but yeah, I'm gonna sort of research it and try and finish this collection and a Cronenberg one. Yeah, obviously comment down below if any I forgot or anything worth watching that I haven't seen. And then let me know your favourite if it's not The Thing or Halloween or they live. I would be quite surprised if somebody's got vampires or Ghosts of Mars as their number one, but each to their own. Right, thank you everybody, bye.